Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. I just want to get on here and talk about resistance, especially for folks that aren't usually activists or organizers or do anything resistance-wise. I know that there's a lot of fear around speaking up for what is right. Especially if you're in corporate America. I can almost guarantee that all of you are seeing is really flags and it's really support constantly. And so I can totally sympathize with the fear of losing your job because you speak up. Things like that. However, we've gotten to a place of complacency and complacency. I don't know which word is correct. Complacency that is really unacceptable. This is not, World War III is here. I've been saying this. But this is not a new war. This is a continuation of World War II. And I need you to understand that when you speak up, you give other people the courage to speak up. That's why I'm being very vocal. I'm not afraid. I've already been a victim of the state on numerous occasions in different capacities. Yeah, it sucked, but I'm not afraid anymore. And that's like that point of V for Vendetta that we did on Movie Mondays, where V put Evie through like a simulation of torture, and she released her fear. As someone who has experienced state-sanctioned violence, and not to the degree that other folks have, because yes, I am very privileged with white skin, with letters behind my name, and with a family that has financial and monetary standing as well as military standing. But I want you to know, when you speak up, you give people that courage. You give people hope. You give people a moment where they are in themselves questioning what they can do. And if you reach out and speak up enough, that moment is going to amplify. You're going to have a ripple effect of people who are no longer afraid because they know they're not alone. And I want you to know, Americans, especially white Americans, you are not alone. If you think and know in your heart and in your gut that this is wrong, but you are afraid to speak up, I'm sure there are tons of people that are afraid to speak up, because I'm seeing it all day long. In fact, people are commenting. I had one woman comment on my TikTok and video I made yesterday about being an American citizen and having the right to speak up. And she said, this is not a democracy anymore. Don't you know about the Patriot Act? Patriot Act was enacted and scripted and put together after 9/11. And I commented back to her and I said, well, if it's not, then there's nothing to lose. Right? If this isn't a democracy and we're not given that freedom of choice or that First Amendment to speak freely, then what's to lose? Then we're just patiently waiting for our turn to be genocided. What? So, I highly recommend, in this time and age, another big conversation that's happening, regrettably, is that people are coming online and saying that there's so many nuances and so many complexities and I don't know. And look, there are people in Palestine, okay, that are recording with their phones. In this age of information, you have access to whatever information you choose to have access to. And we've all catered our phones, our computers, our iPads to be explicitly us, what we want to see, what we want, right? The marketing, everything. Everything is catered to you through what you choose to watch and think. And if you're choosing to sit by and let this just play out and be like, that's the wrong choice, bro. So, this is we have TikTok. TikTok is the most amazing source. I'm seeing so many. I started some shit with Hawk yesterday because he said how he posted MSNBC and MSNBC supposedly removed some of their Muslim anchors like 2 days prior. And so I commented like MSNBC is not a credible source for this coverage if they've, taken these folks. So then people really liked that comment. People were commenting on that comment. Hawk got all fucking pissed off. He's a lawyer who hates Trump on TikTok. But anyway, I want you to know, like, I also see what's happening is just, he got on and he said, like, this is so complex. I'm so confused because there's so much misinformation. If you're confused about misinformation, you're not receiving the information from the correct source. All right? Just like anything. If you get into a relationship with someone and you're confused, that's not the right person. All right? It's not. Okay? You shouldn't have confusion in these circumstances. If you're confused, you are not seeking the correct sources, because there are people, Palestinians on the ground, who are sharing this information in real fucking time. Okay? Not only that, but there are millions of people around the world who are speaking up against what's happening. And I get it, again, if you're in corporate America and you're afraid, one thing you can do, and this call to action I'm giving you, yes, your internet browser has a fucking footprint. Yes, everything. If you can not say anything on your personal accounts, make a fucking incognito account. All right? This isn't hard. Make a new email. Do whatever. Use that account to continue to repost information from the correct sources, from the people who are on the ground, from the people who are experiencing this. That's what I'm doing a lot of. I'm not speaking on this shit too much on TikTok. I am reposting constantly what is going on, because that's what they're asking us to do. They are asking us not to fucking forget them. They are asking us to stand with them. They are asking us to get the information out. Niall's getting on my energy. But if you can't do that with your personal accounts, you can always make an account that can't be recognized. You can go incognito. There's ways around this shit. You cannot sit by. If you are a mother and you are sitting by while these children and mothers and innocent civilians are being completely obliterated. This morning they bombed a school. Yesterday they bombed a hospital. Who is their target? They're targeting the younger generations of Palestinians because they want them wiped off the planet. But they're saying that it's Hamas. Okay? They are targeting the younger generations just the same way the U.S. did the indigenous folks. Took the children to the schools. Because when you get the kids away from the families, or if you target the children, then that is going to prevent generations from coming. This is a war on children. This is a genocide, y'all. And this isn't the first one that we've lived through. So by this time, we should know it when we see it. And we should have enough compassion and humanity to do something about it. In the very least, repost some information. I'm not asking you to fucking call a corporate meeting and try and, change everybody's mind. We know what corporate America is about. We know who they're going to support. And we know who everybody who works within that building is going to look like they're supporting, because they're afraid of losing their job. I want you to understand this is how the system works. So if you're afraid to speak up, if you're afraid to lose something, if you're afraid of anything, that in itself should tell you that this isn't right. If you're afraid to say something about a genocide, ethnic cleansing that we are watching in real time, I know you're seeing shit, because that you can't get away from it. Even if you've catered your fucking internet to the perfect Tommy Hilfiger, Chanel, whatever. Taylor Swift bullshit. You are still seeing this shit, and I know you are because I'm reposting. And I'm not the only one. And I know that people don't want to see this because people are apathetic. But if you don't say something now, there is nothing that is going to come when it's your turn. There's no one that's going to be here for your turn. You understand me? They don't give a fuck about you. You're a part of their machine. If you can't say something, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. This is so frustrating. It is so incredibly frustrating to see everything that's been happening the past few years and then people being like, oh, but the government. Fuck the fucking government. Fuck them. I know my phone is tapped. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to always stand on the right side of history. You understand me? And if I do it by myself, which I'm not, I'm in the company of all the good folks around the world. No, this is not religious on my part. I studied genocide. I've studied human rights for like 15 years. I never thought I would see this. I've always studied it because I'm like, how the fuck does this happen? How does this happen? How do people allow this to happen? That's why I chose to study it, because I think the phenomenology is amazing. However, not amazing. Interesting. Fascinating. Not amazing. Anyway, y'all need to speak up. Don't be afraid. If you need to create something, even if it's having conversations with people in your lives, you need to be. Okay? You need to be. You need to be. This is a genocide. This is a genocide. And again, this is not the first one we've lived through. We've lived through Rwanda. I mean, if you're a millennial, you've lived through Rwanda. You've lived through, what was the other one? Google. Okay. There's been plenty of genocides in our lifetime, but we have not had this kind of access to information the way we do now. And if you're not using that correctly or supporting human aid or human rights, I don't want you anywhere near me, quite frankly. You do not need to be afraid. What you need to be afraid of is when it comes to you. And if you don't do something now and stand up for what's right, what's going to stop you from becoming a victim? Your whiteness? Your bank account? Do you honestly believe that? Is that what y'all believe? Got another thing coming. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Stand up.